Story frightened and captivated America. The mystery of baby Lisa, a 10-month-old infant who disappeared from her Missouri home back in 2011.
Yeah, how could it happen? A baby just vanishing from her crib in the middle of the night.
And her parents' pleas heard around the country. Listen.
Please, bring her home. Our two other boys are waiting for her, please. Just drop her off anywhere. We don't care. Just somewhere safe where she can come home, please.
But soon questions emerged around her parents' possible involvement. However, over time, the case grew cold. But now Megyn Kelly has uncovered a brand new twist. She was there in the beginning and is there now.
And joining us now live on the phone is Megyn Kelly. Good morning, Megyn. Thanks for being with us.
Morning, guys. Happy New Year.
So tell us about these new interviews that are surfacing.
Well, back when the investigation was underway, unbeknownst to the general public, the private investigator who had been hired by a private benefactor whose only interest was in finding the little girl. This private benefactor didn't care about the parents, didn't care about anybody other than the little girl. And this person basically contracted with a former CIA agent. This is one of the top interrogators at the CIA for a quarter century. This guy interrogated terrorists, double agents, you name it. They call him a human lie detector. And she sent him out to Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, to interview the parents within days of little Lisa's disappearance. And they interviewed them for hours, 8 hours, 2 CIA agents. And this went on and on and on to try to figure out whether these parents were telling the truth. It's all on camera. And the Kelly File has obtained the tapes exclusively. We've been through them tooth and nail. We've highlighted the most compelling parts, and we have an interview with the main interrogator. His name is Phil Houston, where he walks you through his assessment of whether these parents really did something to their child or whether they are telling the truth, that this was an abduction in the middle of the night by a stranger, and this child may still be alive.
We have, Megyn, we have a part of that interrogation. Let's take a listen to just a clip of that right now.
I think the first question that I need to ask you this morning, okay, is what involvement did you have in the disappearance of Lisa?
None. The only thing I did wrong was drink that night and possibly not be alert, not here. I'm sorry.
In that answer, what did you hear?
We didn't see those deceptive indicators. She answered the question directly. We're not giving her credit for answering it directly. What we're giving her credit for is not exhibiting the deceptive indicators.
I also found it compelling, Megyn, that there are some photos and what baby Lisa might look like today. We want to put up on the screen. Remarkable. Tell us what we're looking at here. This is what police would be looking for today, right?
Yeah, well, the Center for Missing and Exploited Children does this for children, and they sort of age them up. And Lisa would be 4 now. Right. She would have turned 4 in October. And, you know, You'll see the whole thing tonight at 9 with Phil Houston, where he walks you through what he thought about whether each parent was a truth teller, because we do both Deborah and Jeremy, the mother and the father, on each of the answers. Right. And the thing that I find so fascinating about Phil is not only will he tell you what he thinks about these parents, but you'll learn a thing or two, which I always find helpful, about how to tell whether somebody is lying to you. Because not only does he talk about the body language that they will exhibit when concerned and full of anxiety about, possibly lying to you, but the way in which he asks the questions, because you hear that questioning sounds so mild-mannered, it's just a nice little opener, but he asks everything by design and in a certain way to elicit a certain response one way or the other. So you almost learn how to ask somebody something and how to monitor the response for truth-telling. I'm telling you, by the end of this special, you will view this entire case in a way you never did before. And then Mark Furman, who's been one of the parents' harshest critics, will come on and give you pause about it all. Right. We finished the interview with an interview with the parents who tell us the status of their lives today, almost 3 years after their little daughter disappeared in the middle of the night.
So, Megyn, you were there in the beginning. You watched the thing unfold. We heard about it going cold, and now you have these new revelations and this new insight. What does your gut tell you?
You know, Brian, when I was covering this case, I would speak with Bill Stanton is the private investigator who was brought in, and he went out there with an open mind. Actually, he went out there thinking the parents did it, because statistically the parents do it. I mean, that's just, it's very rare for a child to get kidnapped out of his or her bed in the middle of the night. It's usually the parents, 99% of the time. And he ultimately became convinced that the parents did not do it. And I'd talk to him, and he would convince me too. And then I would talk to Furman, who has devoted a lifetime to investigating homicides, and he convinces me the other way. So I honestly can say I don't know the answer, but I'll tell you this. I think there is a better than fighting chance that that child was taken out of her crib as she slept at 10, 11 months old. And there's some eyewitness testimony to support it by more than one person in the neighborhood. And the cops zeroed in on this family,
right.
That's what they do. There's nothing wrong with the cops doing that, because that's, like I say, usually the way it is. But there's a question about whether some of the other main leads of the case have been investigated. And if there is a chance this little girl's out there with somebody who has no right to her, who, God forbid, isn't, looking out for her, then the country should be aware of that. And we should put this little girl's face on the camera, on camera, and people should be aware. Just be aware, because it happens.
Yep.
Just recently they found a child after 10 years who had,
Right.
Parents thought she was gone, and they found her, and she was returned. So it happens. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's
and you'll see
certainly
the full
fascinating.
investigation tonight.
And Megan, your hour-long investigation tonight airs, of course, at 9 o'clock Eastern. We do thank you for coming on the program. Have a good morning.
Thanks, Megan.
Take care.
Have a great 2015. She had a heck of a 2014.